Welcome along, everyone. Thanks for joining the session as well on a busy morning. Really appreciate the interest that this has generated across our networks, and ultimately we want to leave you with some really tangible outcomes at the end of the session today. A bit of general housekeeping. Cameras and mics are off already. In case of any questions that you think of during the session, feel free to put them into the chat Q&A, and at the end of the session we're going to have a dedicated time for answering these. Also, if you think of anything else after this time, send them through to us. We're more than happy to follow up with a deep dive session if we're unable to get into it as well. Thirdly, this session is recorded. We like to share these with our growing network of integrators, councils, end users who require the capabilities that are often offered through partnerships like this, and provide an opportunity for people on the other side of the world to watch and learn as well. We do have a number of people that are currently in a opposite time zone, which makes it a challenge for them to join as well. I'm Blake, I'm from IAP, and today marks the first time that we're officially introducing the SaferCities Einar integration. We have been working on this for a while now and really excited to share this. We're sharing more about the Einar, which is our born and bred ANPR camera, and how we started working with SaferCities, introducing you to their team and learning more about the platform. And their team will be taking you through a deep dive into the platform and how it works in the real world. I'm joined by Isaac Lindros and Ben Seaborn from SaferCities, the team behind the vGRID platform. Great operators, they're driving innovation and making a huge impact across a growing number of regions with a really powerful product, and consistently developing and improving it as well. While we're discussing New Zealand and Australian projects, it's also worth mentioning that SaferCities are actively growing globally with projects in motion around the world as well. So if you do have ideas or questions about how that platform could work in your city or region, don't hesitate to speak to them about that. Some quick notes on this time. I'll be running you through for a quick one. It's a 45-minute session, focused, hands-on. Hopefully we're going to give you some real-world takeaways and implementation insights, and a first look at the platform. If this is new to you, you'll get a live look at the integration, a walkthrough of the vGRID system, and some tangible examples of how it's already being used across New Zealand. We will have a follow-up after the session, technical specs and resources, which we can share with you. Some of these Isaac's already put through into the chat. And if you do have questions, again, feel free to reach out. For the past 6 months, or slightly longer now, we've been working on this integration, and I'd like to acknowledge the team for their efforts in this. It's in place so that we can support project demands in our network and a rising number of organisations who are involved in public safety space. But ultimately, we're proud to be part of a system and a mission like this that not only prioritises operational value, but it meets the privacy and compliance expectations of today's security landscape. Cities and communities are really under pressure to improve public safety, reducing theft and non-compliance, and respond in real time. And at the same time, privacy laws and infrastructure complexity make deployment quite challenging. We're seeing more businesses and councils looking for plug-and-play, privacy-respecting solutions that work in a street level without adding overhead. And the market demands not only accuracy in ANPR, but continuous development on software algorithms, firmware, and hardware. Our network relied on accuracy for all of the automation projects and car parks and other monitoring spaces. And when we consider data that's going into a platform like vGRID, the same level of confidence is not only essential, but it's mission critical. But more on IAP. We represent the adaptive recognition range across Australasia, and we're focused on delivering high quality, high accuracy OCR software solutions and hardware. AR's been in business for around 33 years, over 250,000 installations, and most relevant to this discussion is the number of plates that we recognise. Not only the simple plates, but the ever-changing landscape, colours, personalisations, and all of the other challenges that we note. AR started in 1992, so Carmen software is behind the Einar solution, and it's the core focus of the business. Robotics precision engineering, our products are highly robust, and we do aim to produce the highest level of production value so that customers get the highest lifespan out of the products when they're deployed. We're committed to providing uncompromised quality on all of the products and services, and IAP are really aligned to these values. Some similar integrators that you may know throughout the network, but on a global scale, there are thousands of companies that rely on our product as well. The Einar, this is from my side where most of the conversation will sit before I hand over to the team, but they're PoE plus powered cameras, onboard ANPR, license plate recognition and make, model, color with speed estimation, multiple software triggers, hardware-based triggers, able to track objects, motion and vehicles in your environments with ease. They're reliable, they're robust, and you can trust them to do what they're designed to do. They're purpose-built and processes vehicle plates at the edge, so there's no server requirements. It's accurate up to 80 kilometers an hour, and supporting all of those vehicle recognition capabilities adds another layer of insight. We've tested these across dozens of environments, and it consistently has outperformed predecessors of the product and other legacy systems, from car parks, weighbridges, road monitoring, ports, mines, complex city infrastructures, and also in the harshest of weather environments. Manufactured in Budapest and meet the EU standard, NDAA compliant. Really, it does what we hope it does in all of the types of environments where they're deployed. The integration between Einar and vGRID, again, Ben and Isaac will talk about this more, but we aim for a seamless integration flexibility. Einar sends event-based data directly into the vGRID system, and it supports alerting, live streams and playback. So for integrators that are putting these out, or for councils or new sites, means fast deployments with no back-end rework. Day and night operation. These are some samples of the events that it's consistently able to return. In some cases, you're not even able to see the vehicle, but we're able to return plates accurately. We currently have two models in the range. We have the Einar wide, or the standard optics, which sort of covers that range between 2 to 15 meters, and the teleoptics, which is around that 5 to 30 meter range. But very soon, there will be a new super teleoptics, which meets much higher distances of up to 80 or 100 meters. Relative to this discussion is the ability to build privacy zones into it. So these offer the capability to mask out zones when needed for particular privacy areas, especially when they're deployed in areas where there might be windows or areas that need to be removed from events. This doesn't impact ANPR capabilities. However, the events that are produced have a blacked out zone where defined, shown in this green setting. In terms of dimensions, they're relatively small, weighing in around 1.2 kgs. They're IP67 rated, highly robust, very hard to damage. We've seen returns from these that have been removed with baseball bats and other clubs in some of our parking integrated networks. And in terms of the quality and the reliability of these cameras, you can trust these to work in any kind of conditions. In terms of power draw, it's a question that we do get asked a lot, and in terms of relevance for putting these out, there's an expectation that without infrared on day mode, you can draw around 5 watts. In a really intense kind of parking environment or a road situation during the nighttime, you could expect a higher draw of up to 20 watts. But consistently during the daytime, they're really low draw, very easy to put up. 3 components that we have within the camera itself. The ANPR license, the firmware, which is publicly accessible at any time, and of course the engine updates. When you deploy an Einar camera, you are licensed to put out all of the newer engines as they come out on a quarterly basis, which includes all of the developments from our sample sites and data sets around the world. You can access these cameras individually or using the AR device tool, so you can bulk upload these cameras as well if you're talking about at scale. They do have onboard storage and of course external 128 gigabyte cards as well, so you can expect to store around 280,000 events and internally 190,000. There are multiple different uploaders. Today we're really focused on talking about the integration piece between the camera and the vGRID platform, so I'll skip by this, but just note that they are highly flexible, highly agile. There are different user types which allow you to provision and allow different people within your organization to manage different aspects of the camera, and that again providing another layer of security. Key benefits for deployment. Systems are changing, we're adapting to develop to meet the changing pace of the demands in the industry. And with the Einar, our expectation is that you can scale and adapt with this camera as the industry changes and are dictated by the people that are putting them out there. It can be put up on fixed gantries, on walls, in entry points, portable solutions, or temporary installations. And they're easy to scale. One site or hundreds of these, we can ensure that they're going to do exactly what we need. Now, I'll be handing over to Ben and Isaac from the SaferCities team and to take over.
Awesome. Thank you, Blake. Appreciate that. I am Ben Seaborn. I work for SaferCities, and this is Isaac. So yeah, I'm here to run you through a bit more about vGRID, the capabilities of vGRID, and how it integrates, I guess, with Einar as well, Einar. So we'll kick off with, I guess, what is vGRID at its core? So 2015, vGRID was created and developed in conjunction with NZ Police. There was a known conception out in the market that there's different vendors, different platforms that all kind of speak to each other, and the police needed something to view live CCTV camera footage as well as ANPR metadata without having to log into multiple systems. So we developed vGRID to solve that challenge. It's not just, I guess, NZ Police, it's now global, as Blake mentioned. But the focus there was to enhance that visual information for NZ Police for situational awareness. vGRID is, as I said, used by NZ Police quite heavily. We've got over 10,000 active police users, which have access to over 10,000 live CCTV cameras and 1,400 ANPR cameras across 600 sites. Like I said, this all connects different businesses, different camera brands, all to one platform, making it nice and easy for police to utilize on a daily basis to enhance investigations and enhance situational awareness for dispatching. Yes, an interesting fact on that prior slide was the 450,000 searches on vGRID in the last 12 months, which is, I guess, a testament to the use of the platform in enhancing, situational awareness and reducing crime. How vGRID actually helps with, I guess, the sharing between organizations that you guys might either be or might be CCTV integrators for in your regions. You may think of certain customers right now that have large comprehensive systems that have live streaming cameras or ANPR cameras for their purpose. What we like to say is we don't want to take away anything from what you've already provided or what already exists. vGRID is a quick and easy implementation and enhancement to what is already existing. The sharing is a low cost, it's compliant, like Blake mentioned, and it doesn't impact what you guys are currently providing or currently have as a customer. Some of the key features on vGRID are vGRID streams. So as it says in the name, it's live CCTV streams of dedicated cameras from multiple sites around the country, around the globe. Accessible for dedicated police personnel that need to see what's going on in a live event. vGRID ANPR is the aggregation of ANPR data across multiple vendors and different systems that are alert on the stolen plates database that we have integrated into vGRID for NZ Police. It's also accessible for searching and investigative perspectives, which cuts down cost of time spent and resource. vGRID Vault was created to replace the USB or the hard drive or disk that a lot of customers still to this day use to provide evidential footage. So it's a secure, compliant way for the police to request for that digitally. I guess two of the key roles in vGRID when we talk about external third-party CCTV systems then the users of the platform, such as NZ Police. So we use the terminology as producers and consumers. Producers are the producers of the data, aka the customer or the site that has the CCTV system that shares that information with the consumer, such as the NZ Police. Which in vGRID we can lock down that control within the platform, as well as the auditing and the logs, which is quite rigorous on our side. As I said before, so we are compatible, so it doesn't matter what VMS brand, what camera brand, we're able to ingest that information from everywhere. As almost like a conduit in that sense, we can take that in from anywhere, vendor agnostic. The gateway can integrate with the video management system or directly from the camera itself. We have a growing amount of ANPR camera integrations, such as Einar as well, in that active recognition. So that's continuing to expand. Touched on before, secure. So, connecting to vGRID and the integrity and the security of our platform is, always forefront of what we do. We have our own vGRID OS, which sits on our vGRID gateway, which is deployed, which establishes a secure connection to your system and out to our network through a secure VPN. So those port forwarding or inbound connections required, we lock that down to fit your needs or your customers' needs. Compliant, we make sure that make sure that everything that happens on vGRID is logged and audited within the respected organizations, such as NZ Police. We take privacy very seriously, as many of you and your customers would as well. We regularly involve ourselves with third-party testing and checking on the role-based access control with our customers. Make sure that's in line. We have put a lot of time and effort into taking something that's quite complex as vGRID and all the different connectors or integrations that we have, and we've put that on our vGRID documentation site, which any of you guys can jump on today and have a look. If yourselves or your teams or customers would like to know a bit more about how it works or an in-depth dive into that information, you can visit our doc site or reach out to Isaac at ourselves, myself or Isaac, and we can give that information to you as well. Awesome. So I'll hand over to Isaac. Isaac's going to do a bit of a live demonstration on the vGRID platform side by side with the Einar integration to show the compatibility. So I'll hand it over to Isaac.
Hey guys, my name's Isaac. I'm one of the systems engineers here at SaferCities. I'm just going to give you a bit of a run through. I'll just see if I can share that through. Get this up. There we go. Alrighty, cool. So what we have here on the left, we have the Einar camera that we've actually set up out on our test rig that we've got outside of our office building here. And you can see live alerts or plate reads as they're coming through from the camera, and then we've got them real time in vGRID. So that shows the integration and the speed that the plate reads are coming through. Obviously, the camera here is actually mounted at the top of a 3-story building at quite a sharp angle, and we're still getting plate reads. So that just shows the optics and the ability to still get reads, even if they're not in the optimum environment or optimum setup. So a lot of the time, the real-time ANPR is used for operations where when there needs to be certain plates that are coming through or things need to be read. But a lot of the time, that isn't used necessarily as much as some of the other features, right? So I'll run you through the vGRID platform here. We've got live streams, so different sites have different cameras. They can be viewed live and in real time. So a lot of the time this is used in big transportation organizations, companies that are sharing through a large amount of cameras that need to be viewed in real time as an incident's occurring, right? So we can pull up on a map, for example, montage. We can pull up on a map. We can see cameras live. You know, if you're getting an operator's getting a call through saying, hey, look on the corner of this building, something's going down. They can search on the building address. It'll pull up and it'll pull up the nearest cameras, right? So people can actively act on situations as they're happening.
And this is obviously an ANPR camera, so it's quite zoomed in compared to, I guess, some of the other cameras around sites that you guys may have. And on the map with NZ Police, they can see, you know, thousands of cameras in designated GPS locked locations for those 111 call takers and dispatchers as well.
Yeah. So the key parts of the ANPR platform is obviously we've got the real time as the reads are coming through, but we've also got ANPR alerts. So what this means is you can create plates of interest. So these are either stolen plates, so that the police have obviously their big stolen list, but also you know, plates that are coming in and out of buildings, stuff that you think, hey, look, we want to monitor this, we want to look into this further. You can create a plate of interest, and that's logged in a plate of interest group. So every time that plate is read through and sent through from the camera, it pulls up and it alerts the user, and then it creates an alert. So for example, this is just an example demo alert that's come through from the Einar camera. So on this alert here, we've got a whole lot of information about the actual vehicle that's been alerted within the plate. There's the ability to add plate notes. So if, you know, someone, for example, has stolen something or something's happened and this is the number plate that's assigned with it, you can set up tracking on that number plate so as that when the individual does come through again, it's picked up and alerted on. We can see here there's the actual read from the camera, so that's a snapshot, and then a verification read. So a lot of the time before a vehicle needs to be acted on, we want to verify that it is actually a correct or incorrect read. So by going through on the alerts page, you're able to actually mark the alert as correct or incorrect, and that adds through into our analytics and dashboard, insights dashboard. We can go through some reads here. Here's some existing reads, so different times, different reads. We can see when they're coming through.
Where this could be very important, I guess, to some of you that are on the call that may be business owners or may have customers that own ANPR cameras in car parks or establishments that are being used for a specific purpose, is one, the ANPR, the stolen plates database for NZ Police is integrated to vGRID. It's updated every 15 minutes. So what that means is that metadata that's coming through your sites already would also be shared through vGRID and alert immediately. So it's live information sent through to police to notify them when and if a stolen vehicle was entering a premise. Isaac made a really good point there about custom lists. You will probably have, for those of you that have car parks or establishments that use ANPR, you'll have a designated list of license plates that may be used for various number of reasons, whether that's, you know, staff number plates to make sure they're parking in the right spots, whether that's trespass people that you're wanting to make sure they're not, when they're coming into the car park, that you and the security are alerted. There's a whole array of different reasons why you may or may not need those custom lists. What we provide is the ability to add them to vGRID as well, if you're wanting to use vGRID as a platform.
Yeah. What I might do now is I'll just go into here. So obviously, as I said, we've got the plate. Now, if I wanted to, let's say this plate, you know, I've seen them coming in and out of my parking building or in and out of my space, and it's a vehicle that is of interest and they haven't paid for their parking. I can then go back and look, hey, well, we've just seen them again. We've marked that as correct. I can go back and I can search that vehicle. So that'll now pull up every plate read that vehicle has triggered. And then I can go through and verify and see, hey, look, there's obviously a pattern of these people coming through. I can also see these reads on a map as well. So it's showing you the locations of where they're being read. And then I can see the raw images as well. So I can go through and go, hey, look, this is the occupant, this is this, this is that, right? So it's a really good verification tool as well, to be able to verify, you know, the evidence that is behind a certain individual, a certain plate as well. Now, back when I mentioned before, if I go back to this alert, just pull up one of these alerts as well. So this is another alert from another vehicle. When I go back in and I marked it as incorrect and correct, we can go into our insights dashboard and we can see the number of alerts that are coming through and the total alerts and the ones that are pending review, as well as incorrect and correct reads. Now, these correct and incorrect reads will actually make hotspots on a map, so you can see the number of correct reads. And especially, this is especially useful, obviously, for stolen vehicles. So if you know, you can see if you've got a very large complex or a large area, you can see where vehicles are all the time entering. but also it creates an overview or insights dashboard of the number of correct reads per time or per hour on a month, on a weekly basis, right? So we can start to get this really cool and interesting analytics and reporting, which is used a lot of the time, you know, both from a police and investigative point of view, but for councils or boards or town centres or groups that need that sort of, hey, look, this is the security we're implementing, and this is what it's doing. This is how, you know, whether it be putting more guards on the ground or implementing processes, and you can go month on month reporting in terms of showing, hey, these are the number of vehicles that are coming through, and this is how much it's reduced, or this is what it's looking like, right? So that's a really, really key part, that insights dashboard. As I said as well, I can do a quick search. So of the number plate data, if I just go through and do another quick search, each reference, obviously, and I can do a search, and it'll again pull up all the details of those vehicles that have gone through, their plate reads, when they went through, and the image as well. And then I can also set to notify that plate as well further, so if we want to go through.
It's important to note that obviously NZ Police, compared to what you're seeing here, have a lot more strict lockdown rules and regulations that they need to adhere by, or adhere to. So for them, if they're needing to search for a plate, they're needing to have an active file or event number already generated on their internal systems. And that is all, like I said before, all logged and audited internally from NZ Police.
I can also obviously export these results as well, so they can be used in evidence. In terms of plates of interest, I can go through and add plates of interest as well, as I mentioned before. So adding plates of interest, you know, that this vehicle, add plate notes, comments, change the status, alerts and notify. So including email alerts, push notifications, and platform alerts as well. So, you know, if you've got guys on the ground that are working, you know, whether it be a car park building, a community or organisation, security guards, for example, they can have alerts on their phone saying, hey, a stolen vehicle has just driven past or driven into this entrance, or, you know, a vehicle of interest has driven in. So there's real-time active control over that sort of stuff. We obviously have the Vault platform as well, and then back to the streams. I'll show you guys as well the doc site that we've got here. So we've written a doc site, which is designed to kind of put all the information out in the open. We're pretty open source. We like to spread awareness, but also give you guys the ability to integrate and add as much as you can yourselves. So we've got a full doc site which kind of explains the whole platform, how it works, connection requirements, security and privacy. We've also got a user guide available, so our full user guide for the platform is available online on our doc site. And then we've got our admin guide, which is used for integrations and vGRID configuration. So obviously we support a large amount of VMSs, but we also support a large amount of different ANPR streams. So obviously with the Einar one, we've written a full doc site page on how to configure the Einar camera for best practice and also best integration options. So here's a little preview of that doc site page of how to go through, how to set up the camera to get the best reads, and what you need to do in order to connect it through to vGRID. Oh. That's about it on the form.
That's it from us, Blake. Is there anything we missed?
Perfect. No, I think you've covered it really well. Thanks for pulling those up. I hope everyone on this call is finding that really helpful to see the platform engaging with our camera too. I think now would be a great time to jump into any questions or discussion around, I guess, the context for these types of deployments. I guess in terms of where these have been put out so far, there's a question around a deployment sites, so examples or locations or sites types where this has been deployed so far. Do you guys have any points you could share around that?
Yeah, specific to the Einar? Or
more so around the vGRID platform. Some of the places that you've had success with this so far in these environments.
Yeah, so I guess we've focused quite heavily on public places such as councils and business associations spread throughout the country. That has been our focus and still is our focus towards public safety because of the close relationship with law enforcement, emergency services, and I guess community safety teams. So hell of a lot of ANPR cameras are, on the forefront and on the mind of councils and businesses right now, because it's becoming more and more of a tool that they're interested in utilizing, as well as connecting them through to police for, I guess, law enforcement and that overarching security or service that not security as such, but more visibility or oversight from law enforcement perspective. We are now getting dragged into different countries for various different reasons, as Blake mentioned. But yeah, so I guess I can't specifically say who we've connected to in the past, but the number of customers are continuing to grow across the country and globally as well.
Perfect.
Hopefully that answers your question, Blake.
Cool. I think that's a great summary. Look, if anybody else has any thoughts, yeah, sorry, Isaac.
Has anyone else on the call got any questions, or is it, anything at all around, I guess, maybe something to do with your situation or business or customer, or any technical question?
I think some of the closing sort of thoughts that I've got that might be of value as well. When I think about the Einar deployments that specifically work within the application that they were built for, we first deployed the Einar camera for a lot of gate automation, parking automation projects, and that's quickly expanded into road monitoring, community groups or networks of people that are kind of expanding on these as well. And as over the years we've sort of developed new optical ranges within the Einar product line, that distance now in the same camera can cover effectively between 5 meters and 100 meters. So we're starting to see these popping up in a number of different places where traditional sort of parking automation cameras, sort of that line stops as such. What would be some of the value adds as well as an end user that they can take away from this? If there's a customer of a system integrator or an end user within that organization themselves, what would some of the key takeaways be from vGRID side that you'd like to sort of hold?
Yeah, I guess, yeah. So coming back to the different aspects of vGRID around streams and ANPR, ANPR's at the front of mind at the moment, but as they get installed, that may be a bit of a mixed bag of systems or cameras to save costs. No one typically overhauls the whole system. What we like to pride ourselves on is we can be integrated at any stage throughout the project, so enabling connection to vGRID and ultimately to the police if wanted at any stage. So for an end user, if they're thinking about utilizing vGRID for their own commercial business interest, they may have 10, 15, 20 sites across the country, maybe one or two. I say 10 to 15 to 100 sites potentially across the country or internationally. That may be on disparate systems, right? So they may be using certain cameras in certain locations and certain systems in others. And that can be quite frustrating to get the information that the customer or the business needs in a timely manner. What this does, it integrates it all together to make sure that it's a seamless approach across the board. And it gives the scalability for customers around, like Isaac mentioned before, third-party contractors or security providers, giving them really locked down access and restricted access to not their native system, but a platform like vGRID, which is fully customizable.
I think obviously I kind of see vGRID as a connector, right? We connect disparate systems, we connect communities, we connect law enforcement with security, because the reality is a lot of the time that the people that are driving, for example, a stolen vehicle, let's say into a parking building or into a shopping centre, a lot of the time they are the ones that are going to commit another crime, right? So by able to have that awareness or that visibility before something happens and being able to flag something from on the ground, but also from a remote operations center. You know, if you've got a remote parking building or something which is not necessarily manned or on the ground, you know, if you've got monitoring centers that are looking after this already, you know, this alert and these programs can be sent through to the operators remotely, right? So they can then see, hey, look, we've got an alert. Let's pull up this camera. Let's do this. Let's act on this before something happens, right?
That's a really good point, Isaac. You know, it's just sending information to the police for stolen vehicle alerts is one thing, but you may be an entity, an organization that works collaboratively with other organizations or entities as well. So I guess what this enables is, yes, you can share your information to vGRID and to police, but you can also utilize that information to collaborate with other entities and organizations to, you know, create a safer ecosystem for a city, for a town, for a business. So yeah, there's multiple use cases there.
Perfect.
One of the big ones that we had was, you know, for example, stadiums. You know, they have their enclosed CCTV monitoring crowds, monitoring big events. But then as soon as the event's ended, they have no visibility outside of their stadium, their venue, right? Whereas being able to connect with local groups, local existing cameras that already exist in the area, they're able to gain that visibility both from the outer group being able to see in and the inner group being able to see out, right? So it's all about connectivity and further visibility of what's going on.
Brilliant. I think it's the inevitable as well in terms of creating the SaferCities platforms built around safer environments for people in the public space as well. And we're really happy to be working with you guys, and again appreciate the time that you've put into this as a project and as a platform. And I'd hope that the people who are watching this call as well take some time to read through that doc site and do reach out to the team here. Ben and Isaac will share their contact details, and we'll be following up with them as well. But if you are interested in learning more, please feel free to reach out to us. I'm sure that we can arrange similar sort of follow-up calls and sort of talk more about the specifics of getting this up and running in your environments. So again, yeah, thank you guys for joining the call. Thank you, Isaac and Ben, for your time preparing and sharing more about your organization.
Thank you.
Thanks, Blake. And thank you everyone for joining.